A lot of guitars get priced out of being worked on.
Mhm.
I'm not doing a lot of refrets on $200 Yamahas. It just doesn't happen. I will do them. I've been talked into doing repairs that I shouldn't because the guitar wasn't necessarily worth it. But the guitar is 40 years old. It was a wedding present from my wife, kind of thing, and it usually winds up with a tearjerker of a story that makes me feel, that big when they've pleaded their case, and I'm sitting there. Well, no, I'm not going to work on it because the guitar's value doesn't, warrant the price of my services. Well, of course I'll, in circumstances where you're dealing with something that's an emotional piece, where somebody has a piece that's, this is grandpa's guitar, where it's the only thing we have left, to remember him by, kind of thing. And I always, from the standpoint of whether I'm going to refuse a repair, I'll I'll use a couple of benchmarks to be able to create certain thresholds for customers' expectations. So sometimes I'll tell a customer that, look, my benchmark is 50% of the list price of the new one if it's a modern equivalent. Like, so if he's got an 810 and Taylor still makes 810s and it's a recent guitar, here's the list price of a new one. If your repair costs exceed 50% of that list price, you're probably not better off fixing this. You're probably better off financially buying a new one. And they'll send them on their way, and we don't even have to have the discussion because it's probably an upside down repair for them anyway.
So say that number again, because I think that's really important.
Yeah, I take the list price of the new guitar, so whatever it is, say Martin D18 is listing in these days probably close to $3,000. And I have a computer right at the front counter. I'll just pull up the manufacturer's website. And most of the manufacturers are pretty good about having their list prices for their guitars posted on their websites now. So I'll pull up Taylor. It gives me a list price of that model right at the bottom of the screen so they can see it. And so, well, the list price of this guitar is $38.95. That's not what you pay for it at Sam Ash. They know it and I know it. But I'll say the 50% mark for the list price of the new guitar is where I think the threshold of repairs that you should spend on this guitar. So that's one benchmark. On a vintage guitar, I'll usually recommend that the repair costs don't exceed the instrument's inherent value, meaning its market value. That, of course, depending on the guitar, will appreciate over time, faster or slower, depending on what it actually is. But those are two benchmarks I use to be able to dissuade repairs that I don't think I really want to have that discussion. But if it's below that benchmark, then I can feel comfortable recommending that those are the repairs that they need, and this is what it costs.